back with the Republican presidential candidate Ron Paul. Congressman, let me turn to your presidential politics here. This is your third time around, and I think a lot of people know that you engender great passion from your followers. You win a lot of those straw polls when Republicans come to meet. You've proven that you can raise money, and yet there are a lot of people that say, you know, it's an interesting conversation, but doesn't have much of a chance to win. You've been around a long time. I know you know what the odds are. Why do you run?
Well, I'm not so sure I do know what the odds are, because I never thought I could ever get elected to Congress. You know, then I thought, well, if I vote the way I believe, I'll never get reelected. So, you know, you never know what can happen. And I know what the odds are. But the one thing is, it's very encouraging, is that I see a fantastic movement at the grassroots. You hear from supporters, but the whole country is moving. The attitude toward the endless, undeclared, silly wars that we fight that are bankrupting us, the silliness of the Federal Reserve printing money when we need so-called wealth, the deficits that are uncontrolled. So mainstream is now thinking about these things. Before, mainstream was deficits don't matter, print money when you need it, endless wars, personal privacy didn't mean anything. But believe me, mainstream is moving in the direction that I have been talking about for a long time, and therefore nobody knows what the outcome will be in this election. During the last campaign, I knew what was happening. You know, they mocked me for my foreign policy, and they laughed at my monetary policy. No more. No more of the people coming over here. So I would say whatever happens is going to be good, because the people have woke up.
I want to ask you to size up the Republican race for me a little bit. What do you think of Sarah Palin?
Oh, I'm not much into sizing up anybody. Well, I can size them up as a group. I think so far most of them represent the status quo, you know, and not any. I think they're shifting a little bit because of the political pressure. But who's saying bring all the troops home? Who's saying that we need sound money and we ought to believe in the Constitution? Who wants to get rid of the Patriot Act? Who believes in property rights? You know, they're going to modify their position, but they represent the status quo. And this is what excites so many people now. They're sick of the status quo.
Let me try and put it to you this way. In 2008, you did not endorse your party's ticket, Republican Party ticket, of John McCain and Sarah Palin. You endorsed 4 others who are running on various platforms. Looking at this Republican field right now, is there anyone in it that you can already say that this person's on the ticket? There's no way Ron Paul will support him or her?
Well, if you ask me to promise that I would vote whoever the candidate is, no, I wouldn't do it, because my supporters wouldn't understand it, because they want to change it. If they represent the status quo and nothing I believe in, but who knows how things may evolve. So it depends on the candidate. If they're starting to say, we need sound money, we need balanced budgets, we need to cut, we need to bring our troops home, we need to deregulate this economy, and we need to believe in personal freedom, I would give it serious consideration if they're serious on those matters.
So you could see Mitt Romney's platform developing into something that you could support?
Gee, I don't know. I don't know. I'd have to have a conversation with him. Okay. So maybe, hopefully, I have always high hopes.
You're quite the optimist. Quite the optimist. And finally, do you think, because I mean, I think that to assume that they could sign on to a lot of the things, whether you're talking about Tim Pawlenty or Mitt Romney or Sarah Palin or others who are in the race, is a little far-fetched. Do you think there's ever a time that you would say, you know what, thanks Republican Party, but time for a third-party bid?
Well, you know, I did that one time in a third party, and we don't have democracy in this country. It's so biased. If you're in a third party, I can't get in debates as a third party candidate. When I did it as a third party, I spent over half my money just trying to get on the ballots. So we don't have a good democratic process. What happens if you come to the conclusion, as millions of Americans have, that the parties aren't different? They're all the same. The monetary policy stays the same. The welfare system stays the same. The foreign policy stays the same. They get pretty disgusted. So there is but one party. So people who want to participate they more or less have to get into one of the major parties. A lot of our people have gotten into the Republican Party, and I've already noticed a difference in the appearance of Republicans. They say, will you come talk to the Republican Party? I thought, oh, well, you know, they didn't invite me before, so I go in, and they're very friendly. Some of the old-timers are there. but they're twice the size they are because all our people come and they're part of the Republican Party. So there is a transition going on right now.
So you see changing the Republican Party rather than
I think
a
that's
third party.
what many of the supporters I have opted out for, and they see that I've worked in the Republican Party, but that doesn't mean we join them. We get in the Republican Party in hopefully using that as a vehicle to bring about the positive, peaceful changes that we want.